We continue covering Colorado at 5 for you. Boulder County nonprofits are asking the public for help. Many are expecting to cut down on services next year.
That's because of a bigger demand for help and limited funding. Your reporter in Boulder, Sarah Horbakowitz, explains what services could get cut.
For more than 40 years, All Roads has offered housing and emergency shelter in Boulder.
It's a national problem. There isn't enough housing, and this is where you see the brunt of it.
Andy Schultes helps manage the shelter and its budget.
Our budget has exploded really in the last 5 years or so. It's multiplied by about 3. And that's because the problem has exploded.
About 600 meals are served here at the All Road Shelter every day. Thousands come to stay here every year. But now about 20 of those beds may have to be cut as pandemic funding runs out.
This room is about 20 beds, which actually is exactly the number that we may have to cut.
But the cuts aren't coming as a surprise. As pandemic funding runs out, the county knew they'd have less to grant out and gave nonprofits a heads up months ago.
Boulder County has to use those funds in order to support the core services that we provide to community members.
And there's more to the issue than just a finite amount of federal aid.
And the state is not providing adequate funding to us. And so in order to serve the families that we need to serve, we are having to use a portion of the Human Services Safety Net tax.
And no matter where the funding comes from, people will still see the cuts. Dozens of Boulder County nonprofits, from food banks to family resources to community centers.
It means the hardest thing that we do here at the shelter, which is turn people away at night, especially when it's really cold, we're going to have to do to 20 more people than we were planning on.
Now All Roads is turning to the public to help make up a $300,000 gap in funding.
It's the last thing they want to do, but budgets are budgets, and sometimes you're the one being cut.
In Boulder, Sarah Horbakowitz covering Colorado First.